Welcome to Wildlife Wednesday for our Humane at Home edition. Again, my name is Carly Padilla and I'm our wildlife educator. We're going to keep the mask on today, my friends, because we're actually going to go on a little bit of the behind the scenes tour of our Bahde Wildlife Center so we can kind of introduce you guys to a few of our patients and a few of our staff that actually work here as well. But before we get started, my friends, it's our art contest. It is live. It is time to vote, everyone. So if you would like to go to sdhumane.org/contest, this is where you're going to find all those wonderful entries that everyone put in. And my friends, there is some amazing artwork for you guys to take a look at. You can vote for anyone once a day, as many times as you like. So if I wanted to vote for this guy and this guy and this guy, I could totally do that in one day. You just can't vote for the same picture in the same day. So come back every day and vote for the ones that you love the most. We are so excited. Thank you everyone who put your wonderful submissions in. We really enjoyed it. I think there's like 3 pages of artwork to go through. So just make sure you scroll to the next page so you can see all the wonderful artwork that people have sent in. And so without further ado, my friends, come on with me. So we're fully busy, everybody. It's baby season. We are full blown going intensely right now. We're averaging about 80 patients a day at the moment. The area that you're looking at right now is our intake exam area. You'll see that we have a few patients that are waiting for their exams. We have had some wonderful helpers from our companion animal side. So from San Diego Humane, some of our vet staff have come over and learned how to take care of our wild animal patients as well. And like I said, we're getting quite a few patients in every day at the moment. I believe we've surpassed 4,000 patients already for this year. Now, coming back into our critical holding area, we have Miss Claudia with us. Hi. She is one of our vet assistants. And so this area that we are in is actually an area where these animals can have a closer eye kept on them as they're going through their process. These animals have probably just had their exam from our medical staff, and these are the ones that we just want to keep a little bit of a closer eye on. So without any further ado, I'm just going to ask Claudia some questions and you guys can listen on. And so it's like I said, Claudia is one of our veterinary assistants. So Miss Claudia, tell us a little bit about your background.
So I've been a veterinary assistant for about 6 years now. I started across the street with dogs and cats. And I've been here with Project Wildlife about 2 years now, and I am very, very in love with this place and passionate about helping the animals.
That is perfect. That is actually one of the next questions I have for you is why did you choose this job?
Because I feel like it's very important to be the animals' voices. They can't speak for themselves, and I think it's important to help them out and
give them that second chance, right?
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of these animals are sick, injured, or orphaned, and really no one else is going to be stepping in for them except for our amazing staff that we have here who dedicate their time, their blood, sweat, and tears going into this job every single day. And so, Miss Claudia, just describe a typical day that you would do here at the care center.
A very busy day. I come in, I take care of the most critical patients that are here. Then I move on to giving them their meds, their treatments for the day. Then I clean their house, their living space, provide them with fresh water, fresh food, and medicate them.
And as cute as these animals are, Miss Claudia, do you pet them, talk to them sweetly, treat them like a pet at all?
No, not at all. We do not want to do that with wildlife.
Yeah, we definitely want to make sure that these animals keep that healthy fear of humans, my friends. That's the only way that we can get these guys back out to the wild. We just want to make sure that they are still acting like wild animals and they're not too used to human beings.
Yes.
So Miss Claudia, what do you think is the most satisfying part of your job here at Project Wildlife?
Making a difference. I feel like wildlife is starting to be there's more aware of wildlife nowadays, and I feel like I am making a difference and helping these guys get better, and for the most part help them be released into the wild once again is really important.
Really
yes,
important
really
work. Miss Claudia, was there any schooling that you did to become a vet assistant? Anything that you would encourage students who might be watching us today, if they want to work with animals, this is just one job that they could possibly look into?
Yes, I actually did go to school to become a veterinary assistant. I am a veterinary assistant certified, but you don't necessarily have to have diploma or certification to be a vet assistant, as long as you're getting experience through either volunteering or working with wildlife just in general, that will certainly be a big step towards getting there.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your
Thank
time
you.
and experience with us. My friends, just so you know, Miss Claudia has to rush off and go feed a baby hummingbird right now. So we are glad that she was able to share some time with us. Thank you, Claudia.
Thank
You guys are actually looking at some baby wood rats right over there, and I believe it was a baby squirrel as well. So let's come on back, my friends. We are now going to head back to our animal care area. Once these animals get a clear bill of health, and they have seen our medical team, our veterinarian, then they come back to this side where our animal care staff are going to be finishing up a little bit of that process, making sure they get the daily food that you'll see right over here. Any of my friends who want to volunteer, one of the best parts of volunteering is not only helping us do dishes and cleaning crates, but it is also making the proper diet for these animals as well. So there are over, I want to say maybe 320 different species of animals that we tend to get in, and every single one of them have very specific dietary needs. So we need to make sure that we're following the right protocols and that we're up to date on everything we're doing. It does say we're about to go into the Raptor Room, but like I said, we are so busy right now that we've actually moved our raptors into a bigger area, and now this has turned into our Mammal Room. So I am going to hand this to you.
I don't have gloves on.
You're fine. So all you have to do, Miss Megan, is just hold that little mic a little bit closer. There you go.
Alrighty.
You don't have to talk too
Close
loud.
enough?
They can hear you really well.
Okay.
So Miss Daryl, our mammal room in here are exactly what you think they are, all the mammals. So right now we have anywhere from squirrels, we have opossums, we have, what else do we have in here?
Some pocket gophers, some wood rats, a jackrabbit over here.
Oh my goodness. So this is a fun area too, my friends. So real quick on just a little bit on the background on rehabilitating wild animals. Babies have to eat very often. So baby birds are eating about every 20 to 30 minutes. These guys at this stage, they're eating
We have some squirrels that are eating every couple hours.
Yeah, so we have to make sure that we are fully staffed in this room. We want to make sure that these animals are getting the diet when they're supposed to be getting their diet. They're fed, they're clean, and I don't want to give too much away because this is what Miss Megan's job is. So, Miss Megan, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you started to work with animals?
My original experience with wildlife was actually when I was in college. I was an animal science major at Cal Poly Pomona, and I started volunteering at the Pacific Marine Mammal Center, and I was actually on the pinniped rescue team.
Oh.
And from there, I went on to become a zookeeper after I finished college, and then moved on to being a senior mammal keeper at the San Diego Zoo. I was there about 13 years. And after that, I was a penguin keeper at SeaWorld for about 3 years, and from there I moved on to here. I started off doing wildlife rehab, local conservation, and always had the dream of returning to that. And when this position opened up, I jumped at it.
Perfect. Why did you want to work with animals?
Oh, that's the only thing I've ever done. My first job was when I was 13 years old in an aquarium shop, and that's pretty much the only thing I have any practical experience with.
That is beautiful. Can you describe what your typical day is like here in the
it's
Mammal
different
Room?
every day. And seasonally, it changes quite a bit around here as well. It all depends on what's coming in.
Sorry.
Apologize.
I said we're still working, guys.
Usually when we first come in the morning, we immediately evaluate how everybody did overnight, see if we have any new patients that came in overnight, give medications and start feedings. And it's just feeding and cleaning and weighing and administering meds and evaluating any other needs the animals might have. They go through graduations, for the amount of feedings they have per day and the type of enclosures we keep them in, until they're ready to either go outside into one of our large outdoor enclosures or off to one of our satellite.
And then
eventually,
that's a great segue for next week too. We'll talk about that, but keep going.
And then eventually to a successful release.
Perfect. What is your favorite thing about your job here at Project Wildlife?
That it changes every day. That there's always something new. That there's always new stuff to learn. It's always challenging. You never run out of new things to learn.
That is wonderful. So you're never bored. You're
Never.
never bored. The
No.
day goes by super fast here at Project
Exactly.
Wildlife. Is there any schooling that people need to do to become an animal care specialist, or is there anything that you would suggest they do?
Yes, absolutely. These days, at a minimum, an associate's, but really a 4-year degree is highly recommended. Channing over here has her master's
Oh,
in
wow.
marine biology.
Marine biology, nice.
Yes, but very much a science degree, a 4-year science degree to start off will help you get you really the background that you need
Beautiful.
to approach all the different challenges.
Anything that you would suggest a student who's watching us today, if they wanted to work with animals,
Volunteer. Just volunteer as much as you can. Get as much experience as you can so that when you are done, if you are a student, when you're done with your schooling, that you are ready to jump in and have a good idea what the business is like too.
Exactly.
Because it is long hours. We work weekends and nights and holidays, you know.
That is wonderful, my friends, because these are not only the only types of jobs that you can have working with animals. There are so many different types of jobs. Perfect. Thank you, Miss Megan.
Of course.
That is absolutely wonderful. So all sorts of different types of jobs working with animals. A lot of people assume that if you want to work with animals that you're going to have to become a veterinarian or work at the zoo. Those are just two very specific jobs, but there are so many other different opportunities, my friends. Not only can you be a wildlife rehabilitator, but you can also go into kind of like government work as well and go be, there's actually forensic specialists that people do when they're working with animals, that if people might be bringing animals across the United States lines, that they want to make sure that they're being properly cared for. So there are all sorts of different types of jobs. Educators are one job as well. I believe we have a question coming in.
Someone asked, does it take a long time to feed all these squirrels?
Yes, my friends. This is why we actually had to move this.
Repeat the question.
Repeat the question. Does it take a lot of time to feed these squirrels? Yes, and especially when they don't want to eat from you. So you guys can imagine is that we're not their mothers, so they're not used to having a syringe or a little nipple coming into their mouth. So once they have to catch on to it at first, and then in all of these different enclosures, my friends, there's probably 6 or 8, or even maybe more. Usually 6 to 8 are about the amount that we have, and this is a full day job. So like I said, some of the staff starts at 7 in the morning, and we have 2 different shifts, and it goes all the way till 6 p.m. at night. And luckily for these guys, these are our diurnal patients, so these are the ones eating during the day, but like for the opossums that we have, we want to make sure that we're setting them all up for success later in life or later in the evening as well. But you guys can see, without Project Wildlife, this provides a second chance for all of these animals. So unfortunately, some of these animals have come in due to our own human impacts, which I know Kate and myself have talked to you guys numerous times, but this is the time, especially, you don't want to be trimming any trees. You don't want to be cutting your bushes right now because we want to make sure that we're not accidentally cutting out squirrel nests or baby bird nests or anything like that. If you're finding animals that you don't necessarily see mom around, you want to make sure that we don't automatically pick them up and bring them into your local wildlife rehabilitator. You want to make sure that they are truly orphaned before intervening and bringing them in. And hence, there's my job, my friends. As a wildlife educator here at Project Wildlife, my sole job is to get out into the community to teach people about all of our local wild animals, why Project Wildlife exists, and then what you guys can do to help these guys out in the wild as well. But it's a super rewarding job, my friends, working with animals. It's definitely something that you want to make sure you want to get into. It's not always the glory and the spotlight that sometimes people think it is. It is tough work. You're always on your feet. You're always moving around. And when it comes to wildlife rehabilitation or working with wild animals in general, sometimes it's not always nice and they don't live as long as you would like them to. Especially when you're a wildlife rehabilitator, as cute as these animals may seem, we can't baby them. They can't do anything like that. We want to make sure that they are scared of us before we release them. But there are all sorts of different types of jobs, my friends, that you can look into. Become a biologist, become an educator, become a law enforcement officer, a wildlife technician. Communications and public relations is actually becoming really popular. Ms. Daryl right here, who's my camera woman, she's learned a ton about wildlife because she's in charge of our Facebook page, our Instagram, and believe it or not, this is the age that we're going into, so social media is really important to help spread the word as well. But there are all sorts of different jobs that you can do working with animals. We need more people, my friends. This is, like I said, a very rewarding job. It is very tough though, but the more people that we have with kind hearts who want to do everything they can, that's wonderful. Unfortunately, volunteering at a lot of organizations is probably put on hold at the moment just because we're not bringing more people in. But as soon as those organizations open up their volunteer opportunities, unfortunately, for working with wild animals, it's usually 18 years or older. Some humane societies, though, are sometimes 16 years of age. Our San Diego Humane Society, 16 years, and you can start volunteering with us and start learning the ropes. This is the best way to get your foot in the door, show that you're willing to do this work for free, and then a lot of people say, hey, then we'll take you on. If you're willing to do it for free, then let's go ahead. That means you're passionate about what you do. Are there any more questions, Miss Daryl? All right, my friends. Well, like what Ms. Megan kind of alluded to, this is only part of the process. The end process is actually the best part, and that is called our satellite care. And our satellite care are volunteers of Project Wildlife. They're under our main permit, and they have enclosures in their backyards. And that is where some of the animals are going to learn to forage on their own. They're going to get acclimated to the weather. Some of our animals are going to learn how to start flying on their own. So next week is going to be a really special Wildlife Wednesday. We're actually going to be at our satellite care specialists who takes care of all of our raptors. So he has our hawks, our owls, and you guys are going to see the setup he has and all the work that he does for free as a volunteer to help us get these raptors out. And again, that last final step is getting released back out to the wild. That is ultimately the best step. And sometimes we as staff over here, we need to make sure that we go on some of those releases to remember why we do what we do, why we work so hard at what we do, because that last step of them being released and watching them fly away or run off, that's really the best thing for our hearts. We love to see that. We love the animals being back in the wild, and this is actually the best place for them in San Diego because we have so many different environments for them to live in. So a lot of wild animals live here, a lot of people live here, enjoy it. But if you ever have any issues, come across a sick or injured wild animal, please give us a call and we can help you out in getting that animal into the right area as possible. With that, my friends, thank you so much for joining us today for Wildlife Wednesday. Friday, you guys are going to get a chance to see some of our veterinary care assistants in our veterinary area at the Humane Society, so with all the domestics. And then come on back on Friday and then next week. We'll see you all then. Bye, everyone. Have a good day.